and never take the higher road. There's no hope for a narcissist, that's what I'm told. Trying to be the bigger person, man, it gets so old. And just hope for something to put her in check. And smash that ego, bring her down to reality where sanity is found. Instant karma, instant karma, instant karma, so I can see.
The next thing I'm going to cover is parental evaluators. I wanted to do a video on parental evaluators. Same sort of thing, just what it is, not go too in depth into my case and my experience with the one that I had. But just let you know what a parental evaluator is. And maybe I'll do videos later if anyone wants further, more in-depth conversation about my experience, my case, my feelings on it. But a parental evaluator, not to be confused with the parental coordinator, which I just did the video on. Parental evaluator, also you can hire, I think, at any time. And it's somebody, mine was a forensic psychologist, and I was going into, we were just petitioning. Mother was the initiator, she was the petitioner, I was the respondent, and we were petitioning for parenting time, parenting plan. So we had already done one hearing in Oregon. It was on a slightly different matter because originally we had a stipulation between me and my daughter's mother. Stipulation means you agree through the legal system, through a court order. So we came to an agreement that we stipulated into a parenting plan, and so we were never before a judge. It was just her lawyer and me, and her lawyer and a lawyer that I had at that time as well. So I was both representing myself and I had a lawyer sometimes in the first year. So our lawyers came to an agreement. We had a stipulated judgment. So we were never in court for a hearing before a judge. Then, after a bunch of conflict, she petitioned the Oregon courts for a modification from the stipulation. So it was a modification in parenting time. And it was going to take, I think, 7 months or something before we were going to get before a judge on the docket. So a lawyer that I talked to, he basically recommended the reference judge, one, which I did the video on. So that would speed up the process. He said we could be heard in 2 days back to back. And then he recommended a parental evaluator. Parental evaluator, because he said when you get before the judge, even with a reference judge, you're only going to get very little time. And you're not going to be able to cover all the stuff I wanted to cover. I was very naive at the beginning for thinking how much you could try to get before the court and everything you want to prove and show, how they're acting unethically or not in the child's best interest, whatever it is, lying, if you're dealing with cluster Bs, narcissism. So a parental evaluator was somebody that you could hire privately, and they would look at more information than a judge could. And they would basically, like the parental coordinator, do a review of everything they go over between what you and the petitioner, your ex, whatever, have submitted. And so in a court, you're going to get 3 hours maybe. And a parental evaluator could take, I was told it would take about 6 to 8 weeks. Mine ended up taking, I think, 5 months. It was a really long time. One of the things I had a problem with, but I think a lot of them, when I talked to the attorney, he said he's had a lot of cases where they really do take 6 to 8 weeks. So that's the goal, is you get this parental evaluator, submit same things you would for court, evidence, your grievances, your claims, what you're asking for. And then he has so much time to review it, and he writes a review for the courts based on his findings. So it's kind of like a pre-court hearing with somebody that's not just a judge, but somebody trained in This guy was a forensic psychologist, so he was trained in psychology and families, family law, and family well-being. So when you're thinking of the best interest of the child, me personally, intuitively, I think psychologist before judge is really, judges understand law and legality, legalese, where a psychologist will understand drama and trauma and love and positive family and self dynamics. So I went into it very optimistic and, submitted all my paperwork. My parental evaluation, the way it came out, I felt very negatively about. But I'm not going to go too into all the problems I had with the parental evaluator. I will just say it's like court. Sometimes going into court, the first attorney I had, that's what they said. They're like, you're always gambling when you go before the judge, from what kind of day they're having that day to just what kind of biases they really do bring to the table and bring to the law and their understanding of it, to how they're going to view you, how you present yourself that day. Just so many factors that go into how unpredictable court and justice and rulings can be. And a parental evaluator is just the same. And I'm not going to bash mine. I'm just going to say, expect that. Don't go into a parental evaluator thinking because you're a good parent and you've been ethical and you've done the right thing and you've tried to have accountability, that they're going to see that, because they might not. So it's just, there's no silver bullet with any of this stuff, I think. Due diligence, tenacity, conviction, how much beating and obstacles and letdowns you can take as well, and resources, all those good things. But there's nothing that's just, because you're a good parent or believe in your cause and your side and your claims with passion, as much passion as you do, or even as much evidence as you feel you have. I had so much evidence that, in my belief, was mind-blowing, admissions to really crazy things on my ex's part. And so I went in just thinking naively again that if somebody could just read and see our interactions, see the things she's admitted to, the things in the prior hearings and depositions that we had that she admitted to under oath, that I was like, it'd be obvious this person is going to see my point of view and have empathy and compassion, much less conviction for the things I was asking for, because I believe I've always been very reasonable. And so I naively felt that it would be real easy for judges to see, for this parental evaluator to see. And it's not to belittle the complexity of their job, because I can't imagine just the paperwork between me and my ex, what we gave this guy to review was incredible. The amount of money I paid him, I felt like, you're getting paid enough. Do your job. I'm not going to cry you a river because we paid. I ended up paying. They told me it would cost about $10,000 for a parental evaluation. Ours ended up costing $19,000. And there was no communication that it was getting that high, that it was so far over $10,000, what I thought the cap would be. And one of the things I have a problem with, that being said, you go into it knowing it's not going to be cheap. You're going to pay. We go into it where we're both going to be held 50-50. No, actually, mine, I had to pay everything up front because they weren't agreeing to it. And then I had the option of petitioning for them to split the cost. But because I was requesting it, I paid everything up front. So it's going to cost you a lot. The whole high conflict family court, as you know, can cost more than you have. And some of it is a money game. And so that's something you have to weigh out. I can just tell you what mine costs, $20,000 basically. I heard from the attorney that they typically cost about $10,000. But if you're in a high conflict family custody case, you could be looking at what I had to deal with, $19,000. So That's part of why we do these videos, just to let you know what I went through, my basic understanding of parental evaluators, parental coordinators, reference judges, the three things I'm doing videos on tonight, so that we can be educated. So at least there's something out there that is somebody's experience that we can use as tangible information. Knowledge is potential power. That's what I said before. So, use it for what it's worth. Take things with a grain of salt, but there's good people out there giving good information. And I think it's not like everything on the internet you can't believe. There's some people that are authentic that, just like if you met them in the real world, that we can talk through these mediums, through video, and get a sense of, who has things to gain, who's doing things for strange reasons, and who is out there, real people, just trying to make change, trying to, bear testament to their own situations. And that's what I'm trying to do, and help people, help myself, help not reinvent the wheel, help not repeat mistakes, and help save money and time and energy. That's what this is about. I want to be spending time with my family, and I got a great family. It's just with my one daughter that I have all this conflict, but that's what it's about. I don't want to be in litigation. That's why I got a parental evaluator to try to keep from just he said, she said craziness in courts for high dollars with high dollar attorneys. So I do think there's probably tons of evaluators out there that are smart, accountable, efficient, ethical. And, I've talked to attorneys that say the same thing, like they've just had cases where they believe in their client, they're good people, and evaluations have just not gone in their favor. So, and that doesn't mean the evaluator is unethical or bad. I think there's just a margin and spectrum of error, of not enough people in that system with passion and good hearts and enough time to do due diligence. So just a lot of factors. That's why I'm not going to go off on my judgments, my negative criticisms too much as just trying to cover what the evaluator is. So again, not the same as a parental coordinator. It's a person who's going to do an investigation on your case. I did a psychological exam. I did an IQ test. I had them come to my house and watch me parent. So each one's a little bit different, but when you're talking about privacy, things like that, there's going to be no privacy. You're basically agreeing for this person to investigate you, and that's what they do. Mine walked through my whole house. I'm in another state. I had to fly him out from Oregon to Colorado, pay for his hotel, just to get him to then scrutinize my whole life. And it's intimidating. Think of being in school and taking a test. Just the act of taking a test can make you be on edge and not even who you naturally are. It's such a weird situation. It was for me. So having this person watch you, okay, now we're going to he literally spent, I think, 15 minutes watching me parent my child. It was strange. And that would be one of my criticisms of it, is what they're really doing is just, I think they don't gain enough true information. When I think about being a deceitful person, if I was a deceitful person and a manipulator and a liar, I just don't feel like it would have been that hard to hustle him in whatever I'm going to portray my life to be when they come out and watch you parent. And just how off I believe this guy's evaluation was. I just truly question their accuracy. I just wonder what it is from case to case, how many that I'm talking from a biased position, but how many are so off from what is actually going on. So that's probably another video, is just my criticism and critique of, because it really does impact the value they have, as well as what kind of job they're going to do. So again, this is more just to tell you what they are, what they're going to do, They probably will do psychological exams. I did drug testing, urine testing, spring it on the moment. You have no advanced knowledge. So it's just an interesting thing, because as fit parents, if you've never been deemed to be unfit, it's just strange to have so much of your life scrutinized and, fine tooth comb going through everything when you've never even done anything wrong. It's a strange thing. That's why I advocate for joint custody as a default, because I don't believe the courts and the big government, federal government, state governments have the right to just, if you're not shown at all to be an unfit parent and you're an interested party, invested parent, that you should somehow lose all your rights and have to pay for evaluations and psychological exams to be given time. So, but it is what we're dealing with in these courts. It's not, you don't have equal rights. You don't have inherent inalienable rights to your children in America right now. So that's why we cover these. What kind of tools are out there? What is the standard in family custody court? And what options do you have, and what you might be looking at? Because some of these evaluations are, like the parental coordinator, are ordered on you. So some of them you don't even have a choice. The judge has the right to order that onto the parents. But that's what they do. They evaluate you and they write a report. I did 2 days worth of testing. Just the questionnaire was probably 50 pages of questions. And then the IQ test, the psychological exam. So coming to watch you physically parent, and then writing the evaluation. So that's the basic process. It is an investigation and an evaluation. So they do 2 parts. They investigate you, and they investigate the other parent, and then they write a report on their findings. And as I understand, that report can be all over the place. In my case, he was so far off base. And then you have to pay them like a parental coordinator. If you want them to come into litigation, into a hearing, you have to pay them to come and bear witness. So that's the basics: expensive, investigation, and evaluation. That's the parental coordinator or parental evaluator's job. And that's what a parental evaluator is. So, as always, if you have questions, comments, topics you want me to address about my case that might help you, you think might just help people and be worth addressing, that's what I'm doing. Trying to bear witness to my situation and what I feel family courts are in America right now. Or, you can't speak too generalized, so at least in Oregon and Colorado, where I've been in the courts, and work for positive change. Be smart, accountable people, and then work collectively with other people. That's what this republic's supposed to be. These judges and this whole system is supposed to represent the will of the people. So, and I know firsthand a lot of people that put nothing into that, and then they complain about what kind of system we have. So I'm trying to not just be griping, but offer positive solutions. I'm going to put the link to the law review that I recommend for basic positive changes that we could have, because I think it articulates it better than I can. And, we just work on everybody's best solutions. Be solution oriented, not just gripe, but offer something tangible we can do about it. So I hope this finds you well. All parents in high conflict family custody court, or just families that are in court, period. It's hard, period. Even 2 ethical parents, it's still hard and taxing on your spirit, emotions, and the wallet. So my positivity goes out to us all, and I hope the best for us. I hope we can be better people, do better by ourselves and by others. My name is Rad Dad in these videos, so hope this finds you well. Peace and love.
It's all coming together right here now. It's all coming together right here now. It's all coming Yeah, who's that? It's love, can you feel it coming through that? Conscious revolutionary music. Yeah.